And
Yeah, right.
here we are. Okay, welcome back. Good morning, Gaurav. I don't know why are you muted for a reason.
Good evening, Rico.
How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you doing, man?
I am great. Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in today. It's going to be another great show. We set up budget and barns. I love the similarities that this has with other things in business and endeavors out there. I
Yeah.
wanted to start a show with a monologue and just give it a little bit of a background of why we started this podcast. Why myself I started this podcast. I can't speak for Gaurav, but I think he aligns with that reason. That's why we attract each other in each other's life. And so I just brain dumped with AI. So I wrote this up. This channel is about freedom, and I came to that realization because of the farm. Out there, you're exposed to lessons that no classrooms or office job will ever teach you. You learn patience, you learn resilience, and most of all, you learn how we depend on the soil, the seasons, and the work of our hands and other people's hands. When you grow up in our social construct, the systems we all live in, we don't always see that. You're told how to work, how to live, how to spend, even how to dream. But that farm breaks that open. On the land, you realize that real freedom comes from preparation, protection, and from understanding that throw storms your way. One of
Yeah.
the Buddha's teachings I've carried with me, rooted in India, is that freedom isn't something given to you. It's something you practice. It's something
Right.
you cultivate. And just like farming, it takes effort, discipline, and care. So today I want to share not just farming lessons, but life lessons. So you can find your own freedoms, whether it's in your finances, your farm, or your future. And with that, I want to begin the show.
Very well said, my brother.
What's
Very
your
well.
take, Gaurav?
No, it's awesome, man. Like what you
What?
put in is right words at right time, and rightly you said that freedom is not given to you in schools, not in your jobs, not in your degrees. You have to find your freedoms. Is not your 9 to 5 for sure, but yes, when you do farming, you find freedom. You taste the first freedom of like growing your own food, your own way, in your own terms. So very well said, and thanks for uh, host bringing me and being me allowing me be part of this podcast. This is very close to my heart, one of my first podcast, and one of the topics which is very close to my heart because of given reason. India is a agriculturist economy till now, since our independence, since way back, I would say 2000 BC. We are a agriculture's economy. Over to you, Ricard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just want to ask you this question too. What is freedom for you? I know I didn't put it in our scheduled talk, but I just want to because I want it to come from the heart, right? And I just want to know what is freedom for you.
Freedom for me is to wake up not as per the time of my watch, not being told what to do, being available to my friends and family at any time they want me to be. Freedom for to me is to not to be rich, but to be wealthy in terms of my health, my time, my relationships. That's my freedom. What about you?
Yes, 100%, and that is bringing a lot of facts, and that is why I started farming. It was because not just the freedom to have the right food on my table, because nowadays we're so exposed to like different chemicals and different environments, and then just having you choose what it's on your plate, but you are having the connection of how long it takes, or how long it takes to grow, or how long, and it's becomes also like you said, it's a time freedom. Are we searching for the right thing? I don't know, maybe, but
Mm.
obviously it comes naturally as you want to explore, right? Like as you want to grow and learn. So this topic is about budgeting and barns. Budgeting is, for me, it feels like over the years is about freedom. It's not a restriction. Just like when you build a financial house in our exterior, modules, and then so when we build a financial house, we got to have strong foundations and strong systems in place to weather all the storms, all the weathers that the system throws you, let's call it, or the world, even the relationships that you're in too. Sometimes they affect you, right? And so um, one of the things we talked about last week was how to start, right? Like we were looking at soils and land, and what we came out of it in summary. If you haven't watched the episode, please go back and look at that episode. It was great. Gaurav was on fire over there, and he's still speaking from India. He's still he looks like he's in a bedroom, but he's still speaking from India.
Bedroom is a bedroom, man. No matter it's in Canada or India. Yeah.
So yeah, we spoke about land, and what we taught was more like if you're inexperienced, it's better to start leasing the land because you have to learn different tools, different practices. You have to get acquainted with the weather and all the other facts that we are actually going to include in this week's podcast is about budgeting. So to start that, what do you budget for? Right? You want to take
Mhm.
that, Gareth? What do you
So
budget
basically,
for?
uh, some people confuse budgeting as putting restriction on their life. Okay,
Hmm.
once I budget I can't eat out, or once I budget I can't do this, I can't do that. But for me, budgeting is kind of giving you a freedom of doing everything. It's just like you set up a timetable. Like they say that there are two ways to run your day: either the day run you, or you run the day. You can run the day when you define how you want to spend your time. Same is your budget. If you know how to spend your money on which thing, what are important, what are non-important, identifying your dark spots, your weak times, your strong times, you will be able to enjoy spending money. That's budgeting. It's basically enjoying your money in a more mannered way, in a more disciplined way. And if I say about farming, so budgeting is not only about planning for your crops or planning for this. No, when I say farm, farm has two components. One is farming, which is your occupation, and then there's a farmer, which is your personal life. As a farmer, you're a human, and you need to keep both separate. People go down with their businesses because when they don't budget well, when they mix up between their occupation and then their personal life. So like I say to all business owners, I will say to my friends who are farmers as well, stop budgeting just for your farming. Whatever we will be speaking today implies not only for farming but for your personal. And first take of this podcast, and most important one, is keep your budget separate. Keep your personal budgeting separate, keep your farming budget separate. Then only you can thrive in both. If you mix up both, mm, uh, I can tell you like bunch of stories which which don't have much very happy endings, but they are big lessons. And from those lessons, I am giving out this point so strongly. What about you? What do you say?
Uh, yes, I just want to put a comment on there. It's always a learning process, right? Like
Hmm.
it's always you. We're always seeking the right answer, and then it is right to split the two, because also you're gonna split the finances as well, There's different techniques to finance your businesses. It doesn't have to be farming, like you said. And there's different ways to finance your farm. I mean, your personal finances. I also want to say, what do you budget for? Yes, whenever we talk about budgets, it's like the finance. Oh, my finances, and a lot of people, what we are experiencing is are shy about talking about their finances. It's kind of like you're talking about death, like there's all these spiritual connections and everything like that come with finances. But and even me talking about it, I feel weird, like it's like, oh, do I want to talk about my finances? I don't know. I'm kind of shy. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. It's kind of like talking about health. It's
Yeah.
like, uh, I have a different requirement or need or belief system, and then it's hard for other people to comprehend because either they're doing it or not doing it. So we kind of approach it like, oh, what does he know? If he
Mhm.
knows this, then maybe I can talk about it or not, right? And then that's why we're here. We both talked about farming, and then all of a sudden we found that connection, but it expanded because farming is into finance. Farming is in our personal life, even
Yeah.
though they're communicating, but it's good to keep the budgets separate.
Yeah.
Another thing that I want to budget for, and this is extremely important, is time. And
Mm.
then that's why we're kind of like agreeing in a sense, like we always agree, like keep the personal split with the farm, because it is true. Like even if you have multiple businesses, I have multiple businesses, right? And so I have to budget my time and my finances separate in each
Mhm.
one. So it's like it's creating the budget plan for finances, like funding, expenses, marketing and all that on one side of one business, being real estate, whatever, financial advising and all that. But then it's also managing your time. And
Yeah.
that is the struggle right now. Like I don't tell you
Same
that
for
I got
me.
it all figured out.
Same for
But
me. Same for me. My Indian businesses like my Dumnu Homes, the Art House, then Nandini Organic Milk Farm, and then the finance business in there. The main struggle is the budgeting of time, like the time schedule. Sometimes you are up ahead in one, you're not, but uh, I was able to keep all of them running with two things. One, I had awesome team like Ricardo is on my team. I have awesome team who has been not, I'll say not compromising, but they are helping me to work in a very, very, I'll say, uh, accommodating way. And I think that's the beauty of our business in Experia. And once you budget your time, you don't need to spend like 10 hours or 12 hours a day on all the businesses. You, if you know what you are doing, you will be more productive and you will feel more accomplished. Same as your budgeting with your money. If you spend as per what you planned, and if you earn as per what you planned, you feel like, invincible. You feel like God, man, that, oh, I can do it, everything that I planned for this, I was able to do this. Sorry, I was able to do this, and if I am doing this, I'm able to do this. So, yeah, uh, very well said. That budgeting of time, in especially in multi-dimension, is very important. Very,
yes,
very important.
very important. And it kind of goes sort of in parallel. There's so many different things to budget for too. Because when it comes to farming, is you pick the soil, you pick the location. Obviously, if you have proper planning, right, and you went in and you're buying your farm or you're starting your business, you have to kind of like, and it's suggested by other very successful people out there, and it's to find your niche, right? Find what connects with you. Find what it's natural to you. And this is another reason why we started this podcast, because we're farmers, right? So when we talk about farming, we connect in a way that can be seen, right? Like a lot of people see farming as like, oh, but that's so degrading, that's
Yeah,
not the best
it's a poor job to
job.
do. That's
It's
what
the
people
poor
say.
man's job. Yeah,
It's a poor man job. That's what
it's
they
a
say
poor
now.
man's job, right? But it's actually, I don't know. I believe it's the contrary, but that's my opinion. It's actually the most rewarding, as in you get rewards in spirituality, right? You get rewards in finance because you learn so many different aspects of the financial world, and if you're successful at it, you have the reward of teaching it to other people, right? And once that seed is inside of you, it you can never take it away. It just grows. It's like nature, right? Like we see all the movies after the apocalypse, and then you see all the plants are grown, right? That's how it would be like if
Yeah,
society was to end. Nature would take over, right? And it's just like farming. Once is inside of you, you want to discover, you want to find the freedom. It's just it's just gonna grow, right?
yeah.
But we left up a little bit of the topic there. Also, one thing about budgeting is that you have a vision, you have a plan, and I want to take it to a story that it's hitting the Okanagan right now, and that's local. I don't know. Gaurav can say his story on his end, but on my end, the Okanagan, when I first came here, it was mainly what we came here to farm was ground crops, fruit trees, and all that stuff. And all of a sudden, slowly, it got taken over by the vision of certain corporations, and it was implanted in the minds of the farmers that grapes would be a great crop to plant, right? And so uh, so many farms took out years old, like 30 to 50 years old trees. And I don't want to dwell too much into it, but as the tree grows older and stronger, it picks up, you know, ethorically speaking, it picks up energies. But it also picks up so-called physically speaking nutrients from the ground, because as it grows, it grows bigger and the roots go deeper, right? So it establishes its own systems, and it actually becomes independent. Once you
Mm-hmm.
have a tree that is settled in, you don't have to touch it, like, and it grows abundantly whatever the seasons are, because it's been through the seasons, it's hardened, it has built itself, uh, and that's the future value, right? So we give it a future value, and that's what we don't envision as we come in as new farmers or new businesses. We don't have the long-term vision of what this system can do. It's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing with experience. It's the long vision that you have to see, like, and that is why they give you legacy. That's why they give you, the future fruits. But you have to
Mm-hmm.
wait, you have to build on it, you have to build the foundations. But
Mm-hmm.
anyways, I was going to say the story that the grape industry came in, the wine industry, because, oh, it's so much profits, like you're selling a bottle of wine for 20-30 bucks, right? And
Mm-hmm.
there's so much incentives because the government makes money on that, so they subsidize it.
Yeah.
And so, but subsidize, I mean, we could talk about it later. It's a way to take people's money, people's taxes, and reinvest it back into businesses. But they choose the business. So it takes
Mm-hmm.
away the freedom of choice, because it's like, well, you plant grapes. So making the story short, a lot of farmers took out all these old trees, all these great producing, don't have to touch, don't have to do the work trees, and took out the infrastructure and planted it back in with grapes. And let me tell you, it's not cheap to plant grapes, because you have to have the trellising systems, you have to have the watering systems, you have to. Most of the grounds are not flat and perfect to farm, so you have to have tractors, you have to maintain it, you have to there is a certain density that you have to put. So you've got to space the row a certain distance. And then the tractor for that distance are a lot more expensive than the normal tractor. So you got to get special tools and you got to prune them and all this stuff. And they don't produce after 3 years. 3 years is when it starts producing. But if you're competing with other grapes companies or vineyards, then your grapes is not going to taste as good as a 6 year old vine or 7 years old vine, right? So there's competition in there too that you have to budget. But I'm just going to say that now we're seeing wine consumption has reduced globally. So
Hmm.
now all this investment, uh, I was looking at the fixtures that in China dropped 20%. In
Wow.
Canada dropped 6.4%. And all this wine now is sitting there, and actual farmers, because they also monocropped, so they
Hmm.
didn't diversified, now they're stuck
Yeah.
producing the wine, and production is also costing them, right? to to
Yeah.
to, to get them to it. So they had, I don't know at this point if they had any protection or any contracts in place that would save that loss. But I mean, this is a pretty big change in their non-expected, right? And then, and so that brings the story that the moral of the story is when you proper plan for long term, it's better than short term or emotional thinking too. And
Yeah.
that goes with financing, investing, or anything in life, right? Bringing it back to the personal. But
Yeah.
yeah, I shared that story. So,
So
do you
for
have a
India,
story about budgeting and what?
like before I start with budgeting, I will share some facts about India. Like in India, like farming was like a main occupation because we were totally dependent on like not making money, but to feed our family with whatever we grow. And there's no structural budgeting or financial planning in India because 85% of Indian farmers are smallholders. They hold less than, I will say, 500 square feet. That's it. 85% of farmers don't even have like 500 square feet. So like for them, formal budgeting is not even part of their worries, they are something bigger to worry. Like if something happens, what will happen this, what will happen that. So when we say budgeting, uh, in India, so many farmers don't even know about this. And then uh, for them, if there's one crop it's fail, it can mean generational debt because they don't plan. Like I told you, they don't have access to such tools because they are not making such kind of money because of the land holding they have, but they work continuously under debt, like one crop to another crop, another crop to another crop, one generation to another generation. They keep losing a lot of their money in just paying interest of their debt, or they end up losing their land because of that debt only. So like for India, the uh, things are pretty different. And then like you said that there were like unforeseen things happening about not seeing the bigger picture of just moving away over here. The unforeseen cost for a small farmers is as small as like a is borewell drilling is failed. It just dumped up to get just done with it. Like it's 3 to 5 lakhs. This is what they make in their whole one crop season. So once one borewell gone, it's done. You're done. Then your crop, if one season uh, have doesn't go as planned, they're gone for the next season or maybe like for the generations. Then we have labor shortage as well. India by far, it is one of the we have the highest population, and we have highest occupations in farming. But when the season comes for harvest, even the laborers are smart now. They increase their price by 40 to 60%. In the end, who bears the cost? As a farmer. Transform, and then they don't anticipate the transportation cost. Right now, the cost of gasoline, diesel, and petrol is so high that they don't anticipate, oh my god, like this is not what I'm making in total, but this is what I will be spending just to make my crops reach to the place where I can sell. And that's called basically mandi. Mandi is basically a B2B marketplace for farmers, where they purchase and sell. And then there are commissions in mandi as well. Those guys who hold a shop in mandi, they won't let you sell if you don't pay commissions. So the cost which I'm telling, these are the cost which no farmers plan. And somehow most of the money is eaten up in these three or four big cost only. So for me, budgeting is not about planning for what you know, but planning for what you can't see. Like you can't see it coming, like, oh, this or that movement. You have to basically budget for that time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's for me the budgeting as a challenge, and why, and what is budgeting for an Indian farmer.
Yeah, so it sounds like we need to create sort of a mode of teaching this stuff, because it's so important. And then, like what we spoke about before, it's like also scheduling, time blocking, and creating, because a lot of people, a farmer gets up in the morning. Well, I remember I got up in the morning and I was like, okay, I
So
gotta go milk the cow. That's
yeah.
the first thing, right? As cold as it is, as dark, whatever. And so the season changes as you're milking the cow. So at some point, you get up at 6 o'clock and it's light out. That's during the summer. And then when it's not, then you have to turn on the lights, right? And the little things that you lose time on, right?
Yeah.
They drag you on, but you can't budget for everything. I get that. But at
Hmm.
least with budgeting, you know where you're going, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
you have a clear path, and then you can actually improve from that, and work it backwards, and see it where you're gonna be, right?
Very well said.
And then you're not gonna be like we have a comment that is said that you're not impulse buying, but it's not just buying, it's just like you're not wasting it, right?
Mm.
And there's different techniques. I don't know if you guys ever heard about the Pomodoro technique, where you shrink everything in the first 25 minutes, because creating this pressure, it gives you focus, and
Mhm.
that's where you get the most benefit, is when you get the focus, and then you're not being distracted by all the different things. It's funny, when I said that, my wife just walked in the background there.
Mhm. No worries.
She distracted me. But anyways, um, so it sounds like, from where we started the show, that we need a strong foundation. And what we talk about when we present our things in our financial house, but we'll call it the farmhouse. We need to have a strong foundation, because without a strong foundation, the whole system will collapse. All of the systems will collapse,
Exactly.
and that goes with business too. And
Yep.
and we have to be aware that, if you don't have strong, solid uh, morals too, uh, everything will go away. And a lot of people speak about the why too, you know. And if you don't have strong whys, you're not gonna continue on building the house, right? Same
Mhm.
thing. If you're building on weak foundations, you go up the floors, and then all of a sudden, boom, the whole house collapses on you
Yep.
unexpectedly. Some people say.
Mhm.
So when we talk about protection, we got to protect our livestock, right? Our crops, right? And a lot of farmers don't understand that concept, but it's key of being resilient, right? And this, we have tools that have been there for hundreds of years, and they're amazing tools. And a lot of people don't understand that concept, but it's just, for me it was simple. It was explained to me, it's just farmers pool their money together to protect each other.
Hmm.
And that is the basic concept of insurance, right?
Yes.
It's just a pooling of money, a resource together, and then we go and help each other. And then I don't know if you guys do it over there, but back in the days, we used to go around farms and be like, "Hey, we'll build a barn for you. You know, you put in the money for it, and then we'll build a barn." And then you went off to each other farms and built barns.
Yeah.
Wow, what a concept! And then everybody had a barn. They can store their crops. They can
Protect
store
it.
their animals, protected, and we're
Yeah.
and it's such a sharing concept that I think we can bring it back. I think we can help other people build their barns, build their financial houses, right?
Yeah.
And properly protect their
So yeah. So basically, insurance concept was, like you said, it was way back during the days of Columbus, when the different ships used to bring back their goods from different continents, and there were smugglers who used to come and just rob the ship. So what they came up with the idea: let's divide our, let's say someone is carrying goods of $100. Instead of putting all $100 in one, 10 of them combine and they put 100 on each, putting 10 from one of the guy. So let's say one is being looted, you still have nine. Same is the concept of insurance in nowadays. So let's say what is insurance? Basically like a pool of people come together, put in money, and they just pray that it doesn't happen to me, but one of the things happen to someone, the insurance companies pay to it. So the concepts are same throughout the years, only the way it has been looked is different. And not in even life, basically in farming also, people are afraid to do insurance because they think as a cost, but they don't think as like, it's not a cost. Basically it's basically a way to protect yourself. It's the foundation. If your foundation is strong, like nobody wants something goes left or right, but you have to prepare it for the worst days. That's why budgeting is important. And in India, basically when you said that you need to protect your crops, you need to protect your livestock, so government has like a lot of incentives for that. Like I told you, like farmers are not that educated in India, but
mhm.
government is doing pretty well on that part, because they know that if farming is gone, our economy is lost for sure. It's gone. So we have certain ways to do it. One way is like Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. That's an Indian name and that's an English name also, but I will translate it. It's like basically Prime Minister crop insurance policy. So wherein that your crop can be insured as low as 1.5% of your total crop output. Let's say if it's $100,000, you can get it done for $1,500. That's it. So it's not expensive. Second is like your livestock insurance schemes. So you can cover your livestock mortality, like something happens to your cows, it's your only livelihood, you can get 50% back of the value, fair market value, which is again like you can add some money and you can get something for you. And then Jan Suraksha schemes, in which Jan means like basically Jan is basically people, that people protection scheme. So in this one, the life and accident protection at just maybe I'll say less than less than 20 cents for a year. That's it. 20 cents. Can you imagine governments of giving subsidies to 20 cents for your life and accident? That's what Indian government is doing right now for our farmers, because they realize that it's not only crops, it's not only livestock, but it's also the farmers who are doing it. They are also very important. So for me, like for any kind of business or any kind of job person who is listening to this podcast right now, insurance is not a cost. but it's a way to avoid a lot of cost that will come after something happened unplanned. Because if, let's say, if I buy a car, I am paying extra for airbags. It doesn't mean that I want to use my airbags every second day. No, I don't want to do it, but it is there just to protect myself. Oh, I see. I can see a hug on the call. Wow. So
I can, oh, he doesn't
awesome,
know.
awesome. No worries, no worries. So basically, in India, they are providing different protection schemes for crops, for farmers, for livestock, uh, to protect families and their livelihood against any kind of disaster in less than a cost of a cup of a tea. And you know how much cup of a tea cost in India? It's 10 cents. That's it.
10
5 cents.
cents? Wow,
Yes,
that's
5
amazing.
cents. 5 cents. You can
Uh,
get a like pretty good tea for 5 or 10 cents. And for that cost, Indian government is protecting our farmers. I don't think
wow.
Canadian government have any schemes like that, but I wish they could just come up with such kind of schemes, and that will be like pretty great. That will be pretty great for us.
Well, yeah. I mean, definitely, farming has uh, big production and everything. It's just it's so foundational. Like I mean, everybody eats, right? So for any government that actually doesn't promote farming backgrounds or doesn't emphasize farming as being one of the greatest jobs out there, it just it's just taken all wrong. And I know in Italy they're trying to do programs just like what you mentioned. But yeah, for now in Canada, I haven't heard of anything like that where they help protect people. But yeah, it's in Italy. It's starting to grow that people need to come back to the land, right? And
Hmm.
they're incentivizing, right? They're offering actual land for free that you
Wow.
don't even have to lease or buy, right? And so you just farm it, and then if you farm it for a certain numbers of years, then it's yours, right? And that's how I think it should be for any country. I'm just putting it out there, right? And it was talked about it actually in a book that I read, "The Ringing Cedars of Russia." It's actually in the fiction section, but some of the
Hmm.
insights from this recluse from Siberia, they were pretty magical, I would say. And that's where I learned some of my practices of like the seed, especially planting seeds. There was one, I'm going to take this out of context, but there was this one concept that I was also telling people when I was selling seeds back in the days when I was farming. I was saying that you take that seed and you put it in your mouth and you squish it around. So your saliva activates that seed because seeds are activated by moisture. But now you're
Hmm.
adding another layer to that activation. You're adding your DNA.
Wow.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah. I'm
By
already
adding
excited.
your DNA, the seed will grow to what you need.
Wow. Awesome, man.
And not just this is not just like a physical sort of connection, but it's also a spiritual connection
Ritual. Yeah.
because you're
For sure.
there from the beginning. You're
Like your
there, you're
like mother.
inputting yourself. Like in native culture, they also give thanks by taking up one air out, and then they say limlicht, and they say
Mm-hmm.
thank you, and
Yeah.
they put it out there, and just that motion connects you with the land. Because if you're given a gift, like if you're given a fruit from a tree, it's a gift, right? It came
Mm.
from the tree, nature. It's got that spirituality. So by planting the seed that has your DNA inputted, and also your family, because obviously your
It carries.
your your sibling, it carries on, right? It helps you heal your ailments, and it gives you
Mm.
that spiritual connection, right? And I just wanted to share that because it goes with everything. It's like once you put your insight into it, because I mean, what you just talked about insurance, it's just, for me, I was just thinking, wow, like insurance is taking away so much of the oppressions and giving you the freedom. Because when it comes to money, we are so
Self-centered.
bounded, centered. Yeah, the banking system. Where do you put your money? In the bank. Oh shit, man. If you put it in the bank, that's probably one of the worst places because they're making money off of you, right?
Yeah.
And they're taking that money and actually creating inflation. We talked about it last week too. It's the more deposit they have, the more they can lend out, but they multiply that 10 times because we lost the backing of
Mm.
the gold backing, or like they're trying to bring it back with crypto, but I don't think crypto, I think it's still designed by the controllers. I think it has some good intentions, but like a good old saying that we all have, and it's on all languages, I think. uh, the roads to hell are paved to good intention, but with good,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know.
Said. Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to say that, like when we take insurance and we spin our perspective, and we create this collaborativeness, and it's with the new platforms that are coming out with the new innovation, and I'm just brain dumping here, but it comes up also like with Experior, like you got this collaborative sort of mentality of like, I help you, you help me, and we grow together, right? It's kind of like we're not just planting one seed, now we're planting forests, right?
Mm-hmm.
Forests that have roots. And same with EXP, right? Like you come into real estate, and real estate is so important because it's the roof over our heads, right? It's like
Mm.
the whole, you create homes in real estate, right?
Yeah.
So EXP has the same concept. You pull in realtors that help other people that have their niche, right? And by helping them, you get a little bit of compensation, and then they get compensated, and then they do it again, and then it spreads, right? And it's just like
Ripple.
multiplying yourself, the ripple effect. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so that goes also into budgeting. We now have a vision of, we're planting this seed, but now it's going to multiply. It's going to create thousands of seeds, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have experienced that. I mean, every
Yeah, man.
plant, every one seed that you plant, it becomes
So
20 or
many
30,
fruits.
50,
Yes.
hundreds, right? Like,
Yeah.
like there's crops like quinoa, right?
Yeah.
Quinoa is like you plant one little seed and it's like
Oh, you
thousands.
name it. Oh, you name it. Anything. You plant one fruit tree, you will get thousands of them. You plant one wheat, you have a crop which gives you like maybe 500 of wheat seeds in one strand. So it's like it's always multiplication your about your finance, and that comes to our first floor of
First floor.
our
Yes.
farmhouse is savings and debt management. So I want you to go first for Canadian uh, version of like what do you want to say about your emergency funds or your opportunity funds?
Well, yeah, like what we were talking about it before coming on online. What struck me when I was presented the financial house or farmhouse concept was the opportunity fund,
Yeah,
and just the opportunity fund. We're not even taught about it because nobody talks about how many opportunities have you missed in your lifetime, and you didn't take a chance because, oh, it's going to cost too much. That
yeah,
doubt in your head that came in. And for me, I was like, oh my goodness, like looking back at like, having the opportunity of buying extra land, or having the opportunity of buying another a fruit orchard, or something that I could envision becoming profitable in the future, I couldn't do it because I was stuck and I didn't have the budget for it. So when it comes to savings, it's like you take those seeds, and because you planted them, they produce thousands of them or 100 or whatever it is. And then you go, okay, how much do I save? So there is definitely a percentage of that you have to put, but
Yeah.
practically, as we say in finance too, it's at least you got to save 10%, whatever it is.
Yeah.
If you're making, if you're selling a house and you're making $10,000, at least you should save 10%. And
Mm-hmm.
then those savings, like you said, emergency fund, that's another big one, because emergencies come up. There's always an emergency. You always have a flat tire. You always have something. But it's how you react to that emergency that makes you comfortable and less stressful too, because
Yeah.
stress is as a burden to your health. So the better you protect yourself against stresses, the better you are, right?
Hmm.
And when I first learned about the concept of protecting myself, one of the first things that I did was to protect the legacy that I have, so my children, my family, right? And in order to do that, I did buy a little bit of life insurance. Once I had that life insurance, I felt like a little bit of stress reduction, because I was like, if something was to happen to me, my family's going to be okay.
Yeah.
My mortgage is paid off, my everything
Hmm.
is paid off. So that goes back to the foundation, but it's still like, it's sort of like, it
Emergency fund.
makes you go into savings, right? You still have to save for that insurance, right? And so it's about learning too. Learning is growing, right? And so it's about learning about all these aspects and all these opportunities that if I had these, I wouldn't have left the farm. I would have stayed on it and I would have continued, right?
Oh yeah.
And another thing is debt. Debt, to me, I mean, if we go into debt management, it's so important. And again, it goes back to budgeting, because if you can't pay for the future, obviously we're all trained to go into payments, pay for
Mm-hmm.
this, pay for that, right? Oh, just turn it into a payment. This is how much it's going to cost you a month. And they reduce the cost. So it's like, well, it's only $20 a month for the next 70 years. but you know but you got to have the vision that in the long run, what are you paying for, right? And the interest, we talked about it on our first show, was the worst thing that could happen. I mean, you guys are getting 20% interest on credit cards, right? Down here we're getting about 8 to 20%, right? So there's that, and also you want to recover that you want to put that money back into your savings, right? And make it grow for you. And so farmers, like what you said, they're kept uneducated, I believe, for that reason. It's so that they're easy to control. They spend their money, they work hard because they're hardest workers. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think there's anybody that works harder than farmers,
No, nobody.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yes, sir.
what's your take?
For I will just take a more practical approach on this one. So when someone says that okay, what are the three layers to act for an emergency? I always say don't go for savings. That's what people do in poor financial management. The first line of defense should be your credit. People say, what are you saying? But I say, yeah, first one is your credit. Second one should be your insurance. Third one should be your savings, or second one can be your investments as well. But don't go for your savings at first, because once you exhaust savings, then you don't get any of the first two options, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So for like in India, like I said, the first kind of is credit. One is like you can get emergency line of credit, Like I mentioned last time also, these are called Kisan credit card, or you can, in English it will be translated as farmer credit card. And it up to 3 lakhs Indian INR. And for, because 3 lakhs is pretty much like uh, high for someone who is holding a very small piece of land, and the repayment interest is only 4%. So first, emergency line of credit, if someone has to go in India, I will suggest go for a KCC. Second is your savings. In India, they had like different savings plan, but since banking have not reached to the rural India, not that much extensive, because banks make money out of people who make a lot of money. They are more focused on cities, not in farms, not in like small towns. Even if you see in Canada also, like small towns don't have much of the banking big bank branches. They have like credit unions or something. Same goes for us. So if someone has to do some saving, uh, for savings, I will suggest to go for post office. Different plans like recurring deposit. You can deposit little bit every month, so that you have like kind of your emergency fund for your second line of credit. Third one is basically your, or you can do like uh, cooperative saving accounts, like wherein like your local farmers come together and they save up money together. They have they don't get interest on that one, but it's better to disappear your money rather than being in your hand, because once in your hand you will spend it. That's for sure. I haven't seen anyone in this world who have like money in their account and they don't spend it. There might be some like super strong people on their will, but not everyone. And then we have uh, Pradhan Mantri, again, Prime Minister Kisan Samman Nidhi, which is like Prime Minister Farmer Respect uh, policy, in which you can get up to $1,000 on an, or sorry, $100, which is 6,000, as a support just for your emergency, not for your consumption. If your farm is gone and everything, other than all the insurances, you get up to like those $100. And then you always have subsidies. But most farmers do, they spend these subsidies in festival spendings. But I say that keep that subsidy and treat that money as your safety net. Don't spend it over. It has to act as your safety net, not as your festival spending. And then your, and that moves to our last part, or I'll say the last part of our planning, which is future planning. We have covered for our basically budgets, and then we have covered for foundation, first floor, and then it comes to our roof, which is our future planning. For Canada, I will cover for this one real quick for Canada. And this future planning also means your tax planning, your wills, your estate planning. So your farm, you is not lost in estate taxes, or you didn't plan your wills, so government comes over, take over, or third party comes in and put a dispute on this one. Your family will always curse you for this one after building all these years on your farms and everything. Since you don't have a will or estate planning, yeah, it's a big legal issue. And same goes for your India as well. So if you don't have a legal will or succession planning, most of the farms are lost in family disputes, because let's say two brothers fight, they don't know like what their father left. The end solution is to sell everything. What you just did, you end up you end up selling your only livelihood, just because you were not clear who will get what. And then we have, uh, if you want to plan for future, you can take some agri infrastructure fund loans as well, and those are up to $200,000. I said 2 CR, with only 3% interest, only 3%. But government is giving to only the farmers who want to go big, who want to bring in tech in their farms, and they are giving these loans away. And if you are planning for future, this can be a very, very good tool in India to basically improve your farm operations through tech. And then obviously, like I said, that for future, plan for your kids for sure. That they, most of the people give up farming once they see their fathers struggling in this occupation. They don't want to do farming just because
Yeah.
their dad who was a farmer was also always stressed out about not planning for their kids or future. If you want to be, if you want your kids to be remain in farming, plan for their future. And you can start with a mutual fund or a SIP as small as like 500 a month. Once you do it, they are 18, you give them a lump sum amount for their studies in their farming or any other thing. They will always bless you, and they will see this occupation as a good occupation, not like a poor man job, but like a rich man's luxury, that you can grow your own food. So these are like important part of your roof, which is your future planning. Now, which comes to brings us to our last part, tools for budgeting. What you will suggest, Rico, here?
Um,
What do you suggest?
no, yeah, great point, though. I just wanted to go back to what you were saying about planning the legacy and everything. Is just it's true. Like if your kids see you struggling and having a hard time and always being stressed, being absent too, like
Yeah,
not being able to be there, that makes them think, well, why would I want to do that, right? Why would I want to follow my dad's step? And I think that's was one of the reasons why people are starting to, well, they're starting to come back, but they left. Like my mom left the countryside because she was like, why would I follow my dad's footsteps? Like it was so sorry. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, why would I follow my dad's footsteps and and do that because I see it. He's struggling. It's just there's no budget. There's no money. They're always looking, and it was marketed to them, like to oh Jesus crispy. It was budgeted to. Sorry about that, but just distracting. Yeah, I just wanted to say that bring it back to the family, brings the strong legacy. It's just let's build legacies now. Like let's just make it look like farming is the most exciting and greatest job that there is, because it is. That's so right. Like it's so rewarding, and it's beyond rewards. It's like you can't even tell it because you have to feel it. You have to plant that seed. You gotta raise it. You gotta nurture it. You gotta grow it. And it's just the same way as a business. You gotta have the passion. You gotta have the will, the why, the go. Like you gotta put all your in, right? And it's so cool nowadays because we got so many tools. And then talking about tools for budgeting, yeah, there's Google Sheet, there's Excel, but the one main one for me is AI. Like now we can talk to AI. We don't even have to type anything. We just brain dump. We create little projects. We tell it that that's what you want to achieve, right? I want to create a budget. These are my set aside. This is what I want to set aside. This is what I want to buy in the future, right? And it will create for you a budget that it's like, hey, I'm gonna have this much. I need a tractor in a year. I need to change the tires. I don't know. You need to change the oil, right? Like you can budget for everything that you need, right? And not be surprised, right? And if you create proper planning, makes perfect performance. That was one of my Pirelli's teachings when it was horse training. It's like if you plan properly with the proper, now we have these great tools to use. It's infallible. You can't lose. You will always win, right? And
yeah,
so then having the knowledge and listening to us or listening to other people that talk about financial planning and resources that are out there, you can connect them in with AI and tell her, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to follow, and she will put in all those techniques
Yeah.
and give you like the proper explanation tailored to you, to what you need. And that is only $20 a month. So
Mm-hmm.
if you haven't invested in AI, I'm not promoting it, but I'm just saying it. Just go out there, buy the tool, play with it. It will memorize everything that you do, and it's just the perfect tool for to use nowadays, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
For
Okay.
as per India, I will say they are like pretty much free and low cost tools provided by government. So we have Kisan Suvidha app, which is a government app, which is translated to farmer uh, ease app, in which you can see weather, you can see the mandi prices. This is the B2B marketplace prices, your crop insurance information. Then you have agri app as well, in which you can basically do farm management and advisory as well. So a remote scientist will come and he will talk about you on this one, about your budgeting and everything. So these are government apps, what I'm saying. So government
Wow.
is doing good job in India. I will really appreciate them for doing it. And then you can for budgeting you can use Google Sheets, but I know like Google Sheet. Once I said that they don't even know about like budgeting, how they can afford a laptop. But yes, you can always do a WhatsApp ledger as well. You can make a group with your the family and then put your budgeting over there. And then, like you said, we have AI tools which are in Hindi, our local language, in which you can speak to them. Like we have Khata book, which is like again your credit debit book name, OK Credit, in which you speak in Hindi. You let them know this is your cost, this is what you earn, and they can make a budgeting for you. And then you can have three layers of emergency funds. I will speak about Indian version, which is like KCC, Kisan Credit Card, for immediate liquidity. Then you have protection schemes, which is your crop, live, or livestock. Something goes wrong, you can go and dig into those protection or insurance plans, which are given by government. And then your savings, like the savings you're doing in post office. So yeah, that was for budgeting as per India, Indian version of budgeting for farmers.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I
Yeah,
wish we had that kind of help and assistance from our government here in
yeah,
Canada.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna go see Italy pretty soon here, and I'll report back what they're doing over there with how do they help financially and incentivize farmers. But yeah, everywhere in the world, it's different, and unfortunately, we are connected but not so connected, like you
mhm,
said, some farmers in India don't have a computer, they can't have access to the resources that other
mhm.
farmers have, and it should be a must, because we can learn from each other experiences, and we can also learn from each other's places and operations. And if
Yeah,
something works here, why not implement it somewhere else? And I think
we
that's
have
how.
we have such big schemes going in India. We have we work very closely with Israel for providing us like their irrigation tools, like what they use. We go out and teach a lot of things in Africa as well, because those are like underdeveloped countries. So we are learning
Mhm.
from them. We are giving it. Governments have those plans, but actually they don't reach to the farmers. So there is a gap between what you're planning and what's happening. Same like budget. What do you plan and what do you happen? It's different. Then it comes for your government plan as well. They are glowing global, but like the results or the what do you say, the benefits are not reaching to the ground level. That's one big struggle for India, that's for sure. And I think we are much over our time,
Our
so
time, yeah.
yes.
But
So
anyways, it's so much, and yeah, like we're gonna share more about our experiences, and we're gonna go deep down into each topic, because I think it deserves its own talk about it, especially with budgeting, like what we talked about too. It's like it comes budgeting time, and budgeting finances, right? And maybe we as this idea will sink in, we'll come up with another budget to budget for. But obviously, we're out of time today. But thank you for everyone watching the show and spreading it out there. And if you find that somebody out there needs this information, feel free to share, and feel free to tune in next week as well. We're planning to do it weekly, so we can reach out the most people as possible, and hopefully we create the difference. We plant that seed that it's going to grow and be bountiful. If you want to join us on our team, do that as well. Contact either me or Gaurav. We're more than welcome to help you create a life that you possibly can imagine or possibly are not imagining yet. um, Other than that, Gaurav, do you have any closing statement or anything you want to say, add to this?
No, it's just like I think what we are doing here is the need of an hour, because a lot of people are giving up their farming, and farms are being taken over by robots and AI. And the last thing we need is to lose the connection with our nature. And once we do that, we will be in a big trouble for sure. We already did in so many ways, but this is what I think worth trying to preserve. And like you said, if anyone wants to be a farmer or anyone wants to win big in their life, it's not about just like farming, but someone wants to grow in their life in terms of finance, or they want to grow up in terms of like self awareness. Feel free to join us. We have a great team at Experia, and we are there to help you. Okay, then
Okay. Thanks,
we'll meet
everybody. Thank you, Gaurav. We'll meet
thank you,
next week. Stay
with a
tuned.
new topic. Yes, stay
Yeah.
tuned. Okay,
Okay.
take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.